Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mid South Sports Report. I'm Willie, and alongside me is Matt. What's going on, Matt?
Hello.
Doing pretty good.
I'm doing good. You?
Couldn't even be better. Coming up on today's show, we're gonna talk about Indy. Uh, Wild race, wild weekend, I do believe. Dinger pulls it off. We'll get into that. We'll get into Kyle Larson winning Knoxville Nationals. Some silly season news. Um, Denny and Chase Briscoe splat. That was wild. Uh, let's see, Xfinity and their high jump.
High jump. That's what we
High
called
jump.
it. High
Yeah,
jump.
high jump. That's what we called it. Uh, Chase Briscoe kind of might have some penalties coming his way. Talk about a little Josh Berry news and stuff, but we'll get into it. First off, Indy curb versus stock car.
Well, we talked about this before the show. Indy Curb won. I don't know how many cars. Zero. Uh, Not great. You know, Willie, you and I talked about it a little bit before the show and everything like that. I mean, one of the big concerns that I had is that you know the way that NASCAR and the president from IMS talked about it and everything, it was like, well, we've never had an issue with these curbs before or anything like that along those lines. Well, the problem is that when we're talking about the Cup Series,
Right.
you're talking about cars that are running with a no ride height rule.
Right.
You know, Xfinity has a ride height rule. Cup does not have a ride height rule. So they can put those cars right on the ground and have that splitter half an inch off the ground.
Well,
And
the only series that used it, that course was Indy, and Indy don't use the curbs.
no,
They don't go on the curbs. If you go on the curbs, you're going to destroy the car.
no. Well, you got to remember, the problem is that, you know, anybody that, if you've ever done, I don't know how many of our audience maybe have ever tried to do race a stock car on a road course in iRacing. Okay. iRacing, the thing about a stock car, if you want to go fast on a road course, is you got to straighten the corner out as much as you can.
Right.
If you can straighten the corner out, you're going to be faster. And that's exactly what the drivers were doing, right? They were shortening that kink up, making it straight. I heard Greg Ives talking on XM today, and he said Alex Bowman, the way that he was able to run that thing, he was able to run that kink just about wide open through there
Well, I mean,
because they were.
you could roll back to the Roval. You remember the S back there, basically the
Oh,
bus
yeah.
stop. They
Mm-hmm.
had to do changes because guys was going through it wide open, and they actually had to add a turtle just to slow them down. So that becomes a slow moving
Yeah.
chicane.
Well, and you probably remember after the first Roval race, they actually made that bus stop longer. It
Yeah,
actually goes more into the infield than it did in the first race.
right.
And that was to force the guys to have to slow down for it and actually make that turn. Um, I did hear NASCAR say basically they've talked to IMS. I think that particular section of the track, NASCAR has already said that they're going to want it addressed.
Right.
And I think it's going to be that they're looking for more of a permanent curb solution there. And you know what? If they start putting in a concrete or an asphalt curb there, that is going to penalize you for, you try to do what they were doing. It's exactly the same thing, right? It's going to end up making those guys having to make that turn and slowing them down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many splitter pans was end up, you know, lost
Wait,
during that. Um, I'm going to be looking for that on Racing Warehouse. Anybody's sees that splitter pans, I might want one because that might be neat to hang up in the garage.
well,
But
like we had said it before when we were doing our pre-show, the first indication that there was going to be a problem is when they threw the caution and they thought there was a small piece of metal underneath that curb. And TV showed it, and they yarded that thing out, and it was a whole radiator pan and half a splitter.
yeah,
that should have been the first indication that we're gonna have a problem.
This was, and this wasn't the part of the track, but I have a clip of the Xfinity cars going airborne. Take a look at this.
Coming, oh, there's Kevin Harvick as well with a little bit of damage. This is through the kink of 5 and 6. Look back behind the lead cars. Somebody catches a little air. The 19 and the 90. Oh, that looks like Harrison Burton gets up in the air. Everybody behind him, oh, they're all jumping that curb. Goodness gracious. See that orange curb? It's on the outside edge of that exit of turn 6.
That right there was massive. That's why we called it the Xfinity
High jump.
They removed that curve. They removed it. That wasn't the curve that was the problem.
No.
It was another one. And I wish I had a clip of, was it, let's see, you had the 34 car go for it was either McDowell or Randy LaJoy go for, it looked like racing, it looked like they was racing
when
Bobby Gordon truck race.
Yeah, that was when they took the other curb out, because that one had already destroyed half the field. They took that one away, and then McDowell cut that corner, and he caught that high jump curb.
Yeah,
and he did the same thing. It just, I mean, he launched himself, and I mean, you're gonna have no control when you come down and hit the ground after you launch like that.
So. Yeah, I mean, you had all kinds of. I mean, they destroyed some cars. I mean, Brett Griffin he sent a tweet out. He said he thought he was at Talladega when half the field exits the spotter stand. I mean, you got half the field leaving the spotter stand. He thought he was at Talladega and Daytona after the big one. Yep. It got pretty bad.
Well, you guys, just, I don't know how many you heard, but I mean, we all know that first wreck. Byron was unfortunately the first victim of that curb coming up. And he had an interview, and he said in his interview, he said he felt like he hit a wall. That's how hard he hit it. And he said when he hit that thing and it felt like he hit a wall, he said it ripped the whole front end out of the car. And he said it launched him in the air. And he said he did not feel the front end hit the ground until it hit the grass.
Yeah. It's unfortunate you have you need to race the racetrack, but it's unfortunate you have something like that. We was in an hour red flag for them to get all that done.
It was a long one. But I mean, there were so many cars tore up. I mean, Joey Logano, man, I'm glad those tires were there because he hit that wall a ton.
Well, I mean, we even saw, was it Road America when that guy that Plumley, that guy that drove the 6 car, he throttle stuck and he hit wide open into the tires. It kind of reminds you like that. I watched clips of it and I went back and rewatched the race. I was listening to Allmendinger's radio the whole time. I'm a big Colic fan. I have been for past 2-3 years. I've really grown on that team. And they was talking. I mean, Brett Griffin's probably one of the experienced spotters on the stand. He was saying this race is treacherous. I mean, people running each other off the grass and stuff. You can tell we're getting close to the playoffs because there's no giving no more. It's all take. And stuff. But I mean, hey, Indy, Dinger kissed the bricks. You had Chris Rice on one side, you had Matt Colic on the other, and got Brett Griffin there. They all kissed the bricks. Matt, did you see that as a potential for him to win that race?
You know what? I don't think he had a chance to win it until the curb disaster. Because that curb took out a ton of top 10 cars.
I went delivered lunch to Jerry Klein up there, just being a little nice, but they own Jerry's Muffler Tires, and he said, and he probably was right, that if all that debacle wasn't going on, he thought Kyle Larson was probably going to win that race. He thought if Kurt Busch didn't push Larson off the racetrack, Larson was probably going to win that race.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So,
Yeah.
you had Larson up there. Chase was, man, he led a little bit, but he wasn't nowhere to be seen. I know he fell off the jack into pit stop. You can't make a mistake on pit road.
Larson had the best car. Definitely, Larson had the best car.
I don't know
overall for the race.
I'm not going to get premature here, and I'm not a real big Larson fan. But and I might be stepping on some people's toes, but you putting Larson this year alone, he reminds you of what Jeff Gordon did when he come into the sport. Just, I mean, he's winning all the race. He's winning all your crown jewels. He's winning your, he's winning. He's not just good on ovals. He's winning at road courses. He's winning at ovals. He's winning, I don't think he's won a short track this year. Am I wrong? He ain't won a short track.
No, I don't think so.
He ain't won a short track. So that's something else on his list. But he's won every caliber of track. I mean, the kid, I wouldn't really call him a kid, but the guy went to Knoxville, Iowa, and won their crown jewel, and then come and about won NASCAR race the next day. I don't know what else you can do, but man's on fire. Back to the colic racing. We talked about it. We're going to talk about it a little bit more. Does colic racing become a super team by year 2? And I'm saying yes.
And I'm saying no.
I'm saying yes. But I think they're going to have a veteran driver in that car, that second car, at least a couple races. I think, it amazes me that car is coming out of RCR's shop. It's coming out of Richard Childress' shop, just like Trackhouse. It's coming out of Richard Childress' shop. And they're doing so much with it. Like, and everybody's saying, well, it might have been a fluke. I've seen some people, it's a fluke that, Dinger won. Every road course race that we've ran this year and Allmendinger's in it, he's been up front. They're not bringing junk.
No, he has been up front. The thing that's killed him is
penalties,
pit stops, and penalties.
It's kind of hard. Okay.
And that's because, I'm sure, Willie, right? On Saturday when he's running Xfinity,
team spot,
he's got a Cup team pit crew. Right. When he's racing Cup on Sunday, he don't have the 3 or the 8 pit crew from RCR. He's got probably the backups, right?
Yeah, I don't know where there's nowhere to lease a pit crew for Sunday. All the good ones are gone. I didn't really hear him complain about pit crews. Because like I said, I was listening to Dingers because I enjoy listening to Brett Griffin. I mean, he can spot a race, pumps them up and all that. I don't see him, they was always in hunting. I mean, now Dinger killed himself halfway through the race getting a speeding penalty. That put him in the back. He had to work himself way up. Luckily, they had a pit cycle and they kind of timed it right. They went long on a pit stop and stuff like that. But I believe if it wasn't for Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe's splat, I don't think he wins. And we're getting to that now. And if y'all don't know what we're talking about, here's a clip of basically what happened. It looked like to me that, Dinger was probably pushing Hamlin a little bit too hard going in the corner. And Hamlin kind of pushed Chase off the road. Or off the track into the grass, but here's a clip. Y'all can kind of give us y'all's judgment here.
Outside, but he's going to be offline. No, Briscoe's in the grass. Now it's a battle for the lead with Hamlin and Allmendinger. Briscoe will come back onto the grass.
It's all clear now, though. He leads them into 7. Briscoe right on his tail. We'll have to see how NASCAR...
Stop and go. 14, have a
stop and go for the 14 car. He is not racing for the win. Oh, he's going to spin Denny. Denny is spun out. The 14 car spun Denny Hamlin out into turn 10.
Now, the question that is really up in the air with that. Did Chase Briscoe get in his ear that he had a penalty before all that happened? Now, Chase is running for a playoff spot. Denny's locked. Now I take it back. Denny's not locked, but
he is now.
He is now, but he
is now
good when coming in. If you had Chase Briscoe win here, and then you had another wild card win at Michigan, and then you had another wild card win, it'd be all winners, and you'd have Denny Hamlin sitting second in points, not make the playoffs. So Denny was racing aggressively, but the question that still remains, and only the people that was listening to the 14's radio could answer that. Did he get enough? Did somebody tell him before that exchange happened he had a penalty, and is that why he wrecked Denny? Or was he wrecking Denny anyway because Denny ran him off the track? Now, I don't know, and I tried to get the video. I couldn't get the video, but, kind of was some words exchanged with Tony Stewart and Chase Briscoe when Tony told him you had to stand up for yourself, and you did, and it went your own way. He stood up for himself and went a long way, and Tony's like, I'm proud of you because he stood up for himself. Here's what Scott Miller said basically on the Chase Briscoe, what they're going to look at about the penalty. Penalty might come out. It has to come out tomorrow. So that's when penalties come out. They're not going to waive a penalty Thursday. So here's what he had to say.
I feel like he should have known by the time that wreck happened that he was penalized.
It was announced over the race channel that he had a penalty and needed to serve it prior to him having the incident down there with the 11. What we'll have to do is go back and listen to the communication from the spotter and make sure that the spotter actually, there wasn't much time lapse between the time that we called the penalty and him getting into it with the 11. So we will do some investigation and make sure the spotter conveyed the message well to the driver before that happened. That was unfortunate how that all worked out.
So that's Scott Miller. That's the director of competition. And basically what he's toning it down to, they're going to go back, look at the SMT data, and they're going to look at radio data to see if he got enough time that he had a penalty, and he just purposely wrecked it, there might be a penalty. Matt, do you really think they give him a penalty? But he finished 26.
No, I think this is all done because I think the penalty was issued because they, if you look at the final rundown of the Cup race, Chase Briscoe is listed as parked.
Oh, really?
Correct. He is listed as parked.
So NASCAR thought that he had enough time. He just spun Denny out on purpose.
Right. So the whole thing is that's why he finished 26, because NASCAR basically after that lap, for the most part, parked the 14 car.
I got this video I want to share. Heated exchange between Denny and Chase Briscoe. It's probably a little over a minute, but kind of hear the tone in Denny's voice, calm tone compared to what Denny says, but basically Denny thought he was wrecked.
You already had a penalty. They already called you a penalty. I literally had 10 and they said, hey, you got something to do. Where's turn 10? First of all, I didn't run any wide. I got hit by the 16. I didn't even ran off the track. still can't run dead in the back. I wasn't trying to. Like I said, I was trying to turn underneath you. I just barely clipped the right rear. I was not trying to turn you. I had no reason to turn. Obviously, you had a penalty. That's what I'm saying. I did not even know I had a penalty until I got to turn 10. Literally, if you listen back, when I came to this turn and on that little short street, he said, hey, you got to stop at 10. I came on the radio. I said, where is turn 10? I didn't even know. They did not tell me one thing. The way I understood the rules, if you went under the right to turn 1, you had to stop. So when I got ran wide, I just went wide open because I was in the grass anyway. I wasn't trying to screw you up. You still had a lap to like race. I know, I was just trying to get it going because I knew the 16 was right behind me.
So that was a little funny exchange there. If you went back and watched the video, Chase turned him. He wasn't getting under him. Chase just turned him.
He turned him.
But he gained a bunch of fans. Let's just say that. Chase Briscoe probably sold some shirts, basically what Dale says. You know what Dale Earnhardt said? He sold some shirts.
When you go back to that clip that you showed earlier with Briscoe getting knocked off or whatever, when you look at the graphic for NBC, it comes up with a penalty showing for the 14 as Briscoe is going through turn 8. Well, you know what? You're in the heat of the moment. There's going to be a couple things that are going to happen. And I'm guaranteeing this is going to exactly how it went down. They called the 14 for a penalty. 14's like, hey, I got run off course by the 11 because the 11 basically went right to the ragged edge of the racetrack. He was right on the edge of the pavement. And so you know what that argument's going to be. Right away, the crew chief's going to go down to the official and is going to be like, hey. He went, he gave the position back. You know, he let Denny Hamlin go by him and everything like that. So there's going to be the argument about the fact of, well, we didn't really gain anything from it.
So you don't think there was no communication there to say you had to stop and go?
Well, but think about it though, Willie, right? Because we know what happens when a team thinks that they're in the wrong. When NASCAR, when they think that NASCAR is in the wrong for the penalty, they're going to fight for it.
Right.
And you know what? The problem is that if they went and they thought that Briscoe was in the right, that's where the rub's going to come. Because if they would have gone and fought for it and everything like that, I guarantee they wouldn't have been on the radio until they were in that short shoot on 10.
Well, who remember that time they had a driver get showed the black and white flag, the with the cross?
Yep.
I can't remember who it was, but they'd like, hey, you got to come now. For what? You know, basically the crew chief was fighting with that official so long, it was going on to lap 5, and he wasn't in yet. I think it was Matt. Was it Matt Kenseth or Carl Edwards? It's one of the two.
One of those two. Yeah.
But he's like, you got to come now. I think it was Carl Edwards. You got to come now. You got to come now. You're not being scored. You're not being scored, basically what it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, it's
but
just,
that's the thing though, right? If they felt like they were wronged and what Chase did, they felt was enough of a penalty because they actually backed off of it, gave Denny his position back. It's not like he cut the corner, hit the pavement, and woo, I'm out of here. Right? I mean, he does that. That's blatant penalty. Absolutely blatant penalty. You cut the course. But if they felt that he didn't cut the course, I mean, let's be honest here, Willie. He wins the race. He's in the playoffs, right? So they're going to fight tooth and nail with NASCAR until the absolute last second. Well, unfortunately, I think the last second they were 2 seconds too late. Right? Because if he would have realized that he was under penalty and had to stop in 10, he would have backed off, let Denny go, and pulled in, did a stop and go, and kept going.
I don't know. So, I don't know. I mean, I believe he was still probably. I think he probably gave Denny his displeasure.
I personally, I think Denny did him dirty on that corner. I do. You know, Dinger did him dirty too because like they went 3 wide in turn 1, and it was like, well, there was room for 2.5 cars, not 3. So, but like I said, if they felt they were potentially in the right, they're not going to tell him till the last possible second. And you know what? That man knows the only way he's getting in the playoffs is by winning a race.
Yep.
And he's going to do whatever he has to do. And you know what? He felt like I guarantee in the moment, he felt like he did what he had to do. Now, do I agree with the fact that he says, well, I just caught you in your right rear and spun you out?
Man up.
No, you center punched him.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Man up.
You center punched.
Should have manned. I mean, he probably didn't want to man up because he probably afraid to get another penalty.
Oh, I'm sure.
But
I don't
you
think
look what
there's
Bubba Wallace did. Bubba said, "Yeah, I spun out. I spun out on purpose. Look what they gave him.
Yeah,
they gave him a pretty good penalty.
He punted him. I mean, you know what? To me, NASCAR basically went. They parked him for the last lap. They gave him the 26th place finish, one lap down. As far as I'm concerned, we're done.
Wash your hands.
Yeah, exactly. Wash your hands. Go on to the next race.
All right. Question is, where does Indy rank on road courses this year? We've raced 6. We still got the Roval to go. Where does it rank out of these 6 as of now?
Here's the funny part, because I take this as a 2-part question. If you're talking about every lap up to 4 to go, I'd probably put it second, maybe third. Because Watkins Glen was an amazing race.
I think that's 1.
It has to be 1, right?
Yeah.
Road America was a really good race. I enjoyed that one. But Indy was doing really well. And then the curb debacle, and everybody lost their minds, drove like a bunch of morons. And you know what? To me, that was a black eye on the sport. And automatically that put that race, I would say, not as bad as Coda, because I think Coda was even a worse debacle. And unfortunately, that's because of the rain. But I mean, I put it 5 out of 6.
Yeah.
My ranking.
I'm right there with you. The only thing with Indy is man, that place has so much prestige. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to win at Indy. I don't know if you want to win at the road course.
You know what? I've said it before. We've said it how many times on these shows. They passed the 3 mark on road courses. It's too many. We're at too many now. As far as I'm concerned, you could stick with Watkins Glen, Road America, and
get the carousel out. Get the
carousel. Take the carousel back out of Sonoma, and then give me Sonoma. Yeah.
I honestly think they've got Road America spot on. I mean, we ain't had a show. I don't think we have had a show since Road America.
No, I don't think so.
But Road America is spot on. It fits the culture of 4th of July. That place was packed. I mean, it was packed. And,
you put that one up there.
Yeah. Daniel saying, so they drove like Willie. Yeah. Okay. All right, buddy. Yeah. But I mean, you got Road America, you got Watkins Glen and Sonoma. I honestly think you got to give Coda another chance on dry weather.
Yeah.
You got to give him another chance. I don't think Coda's going nowhere.
But Coda, in my opinion, they need to run the shorter course.
I
think they could. Yeah, they do. There's a somewhere, and I can't remember where there is a shortcut.
Well, I can tell you another thing on Road America. They need to cut a way through the middle of the racetrack where they can cut half the course and speed the caution up.
They already have it. They just don't use it.
23 minutes. They had a 23-minute caution.
Yeah. But
that's caution, the 23 thing. Minutes, like 4 laps.
They have it, but they don't use it.
Oh, I didn't know they had it.
Oh, yeah. Basically, I think it's at the end of turn 5.
Okay.
You drive straight through there, it goes to the front straightaway.
But yeah,
I mean, it's not.
Chase Elliott gave the fans an excellent burnout. They said, "How you supposed to done a burnout down there at turn 5 or 6?"
Yeah, turn
And
5. Yeah.
yeah, he's like, "Oh, I didn't know." And then he burned it all the way down. And I don't know how he got back to victory lane. If they had to hook him or
Yeah,
um,
but there is a it's not like actual racetrack, but there is a cut through there to get to the front straightaway and everything like that. And I'm kind of like, you know what? Why don't we do a little bit of improvements in there? And
they don't want to take
caution,
away the spots for camping, probably.
but cut. No, no camping goes through there. It's an actual freaking pass through to get to the front straightaway.
No.
So I'm like, you know what? Caution comes out.
Yeah, I'm
You know
with
what?
you. I mean,
But-
they need to do something.
But the problem is that if they do that, now it screws up all the fuel mileage racing, right? Because now it's a 1.5 miles instead of 4 miles for the caution laps, and now all of a sudden everybody's going to say, "Well, and it's like, well, what do you want NASCAR to do? It's a huge track, so what do we do? Caution comes out, and so let's make every yellow a quickie yellow, so the pace car is going to catch the field wherever they're going to catch the field.
Lead lap and lap cars come to pit road same time.
And everybody comes to pit road at the same time. Yep. And you come out and it's 1 to go.
Yep.
Now, if there's a multiple cleanup or something where they don't think it's going to get done, then everybody comes off pit road.
I mean, why don't they just red flag the race? On the
pace car stops at turn 3 and red flag the race until it's cleaned up. Fire them back up, 1 to go.
There you go. We're going to get to, we've got the Indy out of the way. We're going to get to this little silly season talk. Announced today, Josh Berry full-time in the 8 car for JRM. I saw this one coming. Full-time, you can't put a guy that runs consistently in there and stuff like that. Question is, do they stay a 4-car team and somebody leaves, or do they add a 5th car? I did see the 5th car option, but sitting here soaking it in, I think Michael Nett probably hangs it up.
Could be
the injury. He had to pull himself back out of the car this week because of the injury. Indy was too much on the foot. So I think that and plus with his dad passing, I mean, his dad was really into racing. So I think that he's pretty much gone.
You know what? Now, I don't know how much Michael was involved in the business. I don't know how much involvement he ever had. But, dad passes away now and everything like that. Now does the whole thing of, well, you know what? Maybe I got to go back to the family business. Yeah. Get back more involved in the family business and because I mean, that's a huge company. I mean, it's huge.
Real huge.
Right. So you could be right. I mean, I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me if Sam Mayer's out of a ride because it was like he got in that car.
They have him for a full year next year. Yeah. He's already under contract.
So
that's signed and sealed.
You know how that goes. You don't perform, you don't get the ride.
Yeah, it does hurt him not running.
I mean,
what Josh ran in that car,
but you know what? I mean, he crashed again at Indy.
Was it first lap, second lap, something like that?
I don't know. Him and Chase got into it anyway. They crashed. But I look at the 8 car. There wasn't a sponsor on it.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I didn't watch it again.
Blank white all the way around. Had a black 8 on it, but it was blank.
And Indy would be a race that you would sail.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I agree, Daniel. Sam could go to the 1. You never know. I mean, if Annette hangs it up, I mean, Pilot could still be a sponsor too. But you know what? I could also see Michael Annette putting that sponsorship onto the 8 car. Like,
they didn't announce no sponsors.
They didn't announce no sponsors. I mean, You know, as soon as he won Martinsville,
Tire Pros comes back full time on the 8 car.
and that would not surprise me either because they were tickled pink after they won Martinsville.
Yeah,
because they bought on for how many more races? But they bought on like 4 or 5 more races after that win.
They're going to sponsor Sam in a couple of races.
So
if I had a car available for Martinsville, I'd put him in it for the fall race.
Oh, I would. You'd be crazy not to.
Right. I think that I don't know if he didn't run this past weekend, did he? I don't think he ran the Xfinity race. Or did he run? Josh Berry.
Josh, I don't think he ran this weekend.
Yeah, I know he's full time in the 25 truck rest of the year. Willie Allen come out and said that he's full time in the 25 truck rest of the year, which that's kind of a marriage that I thought was going to happen anyway. With both of them being Nashville drivers and stuff.
But hey, personally, congrats to Josh Berry.
Oh, 100%.
well deserved. Glad to see it.
Short track guy getting a chance, and he done well with it.
And he done well with it, and now he's getting the rewards. And you know what? Congratulations. I hope that you win the championship next year because that'd be damn awesome. You might have to wreck Gibbs a couple times though to smarten him up.
I'm about to say we're gonna and we'll touch that in a minute. But
we know he's not afraid to use the bumper because Willie wasn't too happy with him after Texas. So
yeah, new Cup team coming to the Toyota camp. Toyota been wanting to expand their camp. They're wanting to get 10 cars. I think they won't be there next year, but I do look for them in 2023 to be 10 cars. You're going to have 2 cars.
They're going to be 7 or 8 next year.
Right. You're going to have 2 with 2311. You got 4 with Gibbs.
Yeah.
And then you have this one. So that'll put you at 8.
Yeah.
No, put you at 7.
7.
Not counting Timmy Hill's Toyota, but he's not Toyota camp. That makes sense. They run a Toyota,
he's
but
not a TR. It's not a TRD. Basically, not a TRD car.
Right. Which I don't understand that whole deal. I thought you had to have a manufacturer support to run in the series, but
no, you don't.
But I mean, this is good for the sport. The question now is where are we going to have 43, 45 cars show up every week next year, and you're going to be sending people home? Or is there somewhere where you think a big team is about to fall out? Not a big team, but do you think a charter team like Archie St. Lair did a couple years ago? You had Jermaine dropping out. Is there a team that is established now that's got a car that could potentially fall out?
Well, that rumor mill's been going pretty hard, and I'm starting to wonder if one of the front row cars is going to end up, because there's a big rumor going around right now that there's going to be a marriage between front row and 2311.
We'll get into that. Front Row Motorsports and 2311 possible merger.
Yep.
So only way this would work, they want both of them charters.
They want both charters, and those cars are both going to go Toyota.
Right. So that basically leaves Michael McDowell and Anthony Alfredo out of a ride.
Well, not one of the. It's a merger. So what I'm suspecting is that probably the 38 car. Let's be honest, Pasta. Sorry, you got to go back to the. You got to go back to the minor leagues. You ain't ready for Cup.
He wasn't even in the minor leagues to begin with.
No, but he's ain't ready for Cup.
He's like a Kaz Gralla. He has not proven nothing, but he's in a good I wear the front row's not good caliber, but Kaz Gralla's in good caliber equipment with Colic.
Yeah. But that's where that's what I'm saying though, is I think what the deal is that the 38, that's going to be the second 2311 car, whatever number they're going to run on it. And then I think because of the merger, the 34 becomes a Toyota and that's going to be Front Row's car. That would be their car in the merger.
Basically, what they do with the Truck Series with David Gillen, right?
Right.
So David Gillen is a Front Row truck, but they're basically running out of Daddy's shop.
Right. And that's where I think this deal is going to come from, where Front Row, basically that team does, kind of merges. 2311 gets one charter, and Front Row, I believe that 34 car next year probably will be a Toyota.
So you think the merger will probably be Bubba in the 23. You'll have the
Kurt Busch
number.
Curtin, whatever number it's going to be. Could be the 38. They might just run it as the 38 car. That's possible.
I don't see it running 38.
I don't either, but Kurt's going to be in one of those cars. And then Michael McDowell this year has earned his spot.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't. Michael McDowell and Love are, they're a marriage. I mean,
So I just think,
Michael
but you know what?
Love's going with them.
But that gets that again. Now that gives another Toyota team. If that merger happens, now all of a sudden
gives you two more Toyota.
That gives you two more Toyota teams,
right? Because they only need one charter.
That's right.
They got 2311's charter. They still got the 23 charter. They just need one charter for the Kurt Busch's car. So
right, and that's where I think that could be what happens. Is it's going to be that team, they'll merge, and that team basically Front Row's 38 car probably goes to the wayside, kind of goes to 2311, and then the merger part of it, Bob Levine, is it Levine? No, what's his name? What's the guy that owns Front Row?
Jenkins. Bob Jenkins.
Bob Jenkins gets to keep the
not the 34. Commentator Bob Jenkins. Rest in peace, Bob Jenkins.
Yeah, right. Best commentator NASCAR ever had on TV.
Yeah. But I think that would work. Man, that would be
because then if that's the case, now you gain another 2. Right? So now you're up to 7. And then you've got that team that one of the truck teams supposedly is going to run a full-time Cup Toyota car, but we don't know who.
Right.
And we don't know if it's Kyle Busch Motorsports, which I think you and I both agree is not likely.
No.
I think it's going to be Thor because Thor
now remember, Rick Ware is selling 2 of his charters.
Yep.
He's running a 2-car team and they're going to sell 2 charters. So that's a potential for people to buy in. I think GMS probably tries to go after one of them charters.
I think GMS has probably already got I think they got their stamp on that charter already because they said they were going racing.
Right.
And so I think they've got their name on that charter already.
Well, we'll come back to Junior Motorsports make the leap into Cup next year. Or you think it's another year before they do it?
If the price is right. Now, an interesting bit of news that I heard on XM not that long ago was about the new car. And I remember that Junior was complaining that the Xfinity cars are going to cost more to run than the Cup cars next year because of the price difference and everything like that.
Right.
Well, I had no idea, but supposedly the new chassis are costing the teams $30,000.
Just the chassis?
Just the chassis are $30,000. The current chassis to make them is $100,000.
Wow.
Like you think about it, $30,000 for a chassis. Late model chassis are almost $30,000 brand new.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I looked at them because I've been going to some dirt tracks. I might want one of these to get a brand new body and no suspension. 27,000 gets you rolling.
And 30,000 now is going to get you a Cup chassis. That will buy you a next generation chassis from. That will buy you a chassis.
Here's I think what we're going to run into problem is NASCAR is going to put a cap on how many teams can actually be in NASCAR. And I think we're leaning towards the franchise model where if you ain't got a franchise, you're not coming to play.
It could be. Could
Because
very well be.
with that, I mean the supply is going to be limited to start off with. So are you going to have JTG's still got that 37 out there? Can they get parts to run the 37? Are you going to get parts to run an open car? You know,
Well, but you know what though? At the end of the day, I think anybody can go to these vendors and buy parts. Nobody gonna just restrict them and say, no, you can't buy parts.
but
I highly doubt that's gonna
there's
happen.
a part supply problem right now.
But
Freddie
that
Kraft
isn't
was
gonna
talking
last.
about it. Freddie Kraft was talking about if you have a charter, you're guaranteed parts. If you do not have a charter, there might be a waiting list for you to get parts.
That could be.
Okay,
But
look at your Hoosier tires in the short track world.
oh, I know.
You've got to know somebody right now to get you a set of tires.
But I remember back in 2013, it was the same problem when the Gen 6 car come out. Because I can remember they went down and they did Daytona testing. And remember Junior bump draft Ambrose down the backstretch and wiped out half the field. One fell swoop wiped out half the cars. And I remember an interview for Hendrick Motorsports, and Hendrick Motorsports said that the 4 deck lids on those cars that were all destroyed were the only 4 legal deck lids that they had.
Mm.
And they were all junk.
Wow.
And everybody panicked because it was like, oh crap, we're not going to have the parts we need for. And what happened? Everybody showed up to Daytona. Everybody had legal deck lids.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
supposedly, I don't know. Is it Technique? I think is the one that's building the chassis. I believe.
Yeah.
They supposedly they can turn out 3 cars a day.
So they could build 3 chassis a day.
3 chassis a day.
You only can have 7.
Yeah,
Max.
I believe they said they could make 3 chassis a day because it's all automated.
Oh, okay. All right. We're gonna move on. Kind of talked about it a little earlier. Kyle Larson wins Knoxville Nationals. I don't know if you saw the stat earlier. Somebody posted. Just in outlaw just outlaw racing, sprint car racing. He's won 300, not counting just World Outlaws. He's won $384,000
This year.
Tyler Courtney is second on the list. He's at 202,000. Neither one of them.
And that's only because he won one of the King's Royals.
King's Royals. So he's basically, you take the King Royals out, he might be at 27,000.
Yeah.
But you got Kyle Larson. Let's just name what kind of races he's won this year. He's won. He didn't win one. He won one of the Dream. No, he didn't win one of the Dream. He won. Let's see what Crown Jewel late model race he win. I can't remember what crown. He won one Crown Jewel late model race. I know he Falls, Fairbury.
Yeah, he won Falls. Yeah, he won Fairbury. Yep.
He won Fairbury. He's won all kinds of late model races total. He's won King's Royal. He's won $1 million in the Cup Series for the All-Star race. Not counting, he's won 5 total races in the Cup Series. They said he's raced 50-something races to date. He's got 21 wins, 42 top 5s, and 42 top 5s. I can't remember how many top 10s. Now, I talked to somebody earlier. Everybody has this type. I mean, not everybody, but people have this type of years.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen him have. I don't see him having a type of year like this next year. This kid is in a dream, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, can we put him down as probably the best driver in this generation, or does he have to prove a little bit more?
No. He's gonna be up there as one of the best all time.
I think so. I don't think he's going to win 7 championships like Jimmy and
No, I don't either. But you know what? It's amazing to watch. I mean,
no
it
doubt.
is.
You've got all these series drivers that are you got all these series drivers that are coming over. I wish he'd go back to NASCAR, but he's actually helping the sport.
He's bringing eyes to it.
And I know they're racing right now at, I think it's today or tomorrow. They're racing at the dirt track at Indianapolis for the BC 39. And if the kid wins that one, he's on a special year to come back what he done. It showed what talent you can put in a race car and see what he can do, right? Chip Ganassi's stuff it's still good, but you put him in a elite car and you see how many races before we move on. How many races do you think he wins the rest of the year? I don't think he runs no more dirt races. I think he's done with dirt. He might run the BC 39, but I don't see Hendrick letting him done.
No, if I remember right, I think he did say that he was basically done running dirt at the playoffs. I believe I remember him saying that.
We got 3 races left.
Yeah, I believe no 2. We only got 2 left.
Oh,
we only got Michigan and Daytona. So I believe I remember hearing him say something about the fact that playoff time he was done for the year.
Right.
He's
at 5 Cup Series right now. How many do you think?
Listen, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I've still got starts left on him for Michigan. You damn well know he's going to be in my Michigan fantasy lineup.
I've got 1 start.
The way that he's run,
1 start.
The way that he's run 550 packages this year, there is no damn way I'm not starting him.
Yeah, and congrats to Jeremy Klein on winning. Even though that I picked the winner and picked the top Chevrolet as in Dinger, I still lost. I picked Dinger to win.
And you were still third. And by the way, I was second.
Did you finish second?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I was third or fourth. I can't remember which one it was. But that was pretty good. I think we're going to have to put a bounty on Jeremy Klein. I think he's won like 4 or 5 this year. I don't know how many he's won, but we're getting up there in bounty stages.
Well, you know what? I don't know how many more races. I don't know how many more races Kyle Larson's going to win this year. I don't know. He's going to win more. And, the way it is that I know he's going to win more. But my question to you, Willie, is he in your Final Four?
Kyle Larson?
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's got enough bank to make it to the Final Four just on bonus points.
So he's in your Final Four, right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Right. So basically, right, that's what we're talking about. He's in your Final Four. I look at the races that he's in there. I'm not counting him out at the Roval.
No.
I ain't counting him out at Bristol. He's run good at Bristol before. Talladega, now he's not much of a speedway racer. It just I'm trying to think of the races. There's Kansas in there. There's Texas in there. Well, Texas, he stomped them at the friggin' All-Star race. So how can you count him out there?
Right.
Like, there's a lot of races that I can't count him out at.
He's the championship favorite right now.
Yeah.
Unless somebody proves that he does not, they can knock him off them races, he's the championship favorite. Now,
Yeah.
a question is when they go to Phoenix and Chase Elliott's there, that will be a race for the decade.
Yeah.
Because Chase is probably one of the best Phoenix racers. The car. If they bring the car back, they raced that last year. They're going to wax the field. You know.
Yeah.
But I'll be at Martinsville. Can't wait. That'll be the last race before the playoffs or before the Final Four.
No, and Kyle Ryson runs good at Martinsville usually too. So
Yeah. Final Four. Give me right now give me your Final Four right now. I
my
got
Final
mine.
Four right now:
Yeah.
Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, and probably Martin Truex Jr.
All right, my Final Four right now. Even though I don't like them at all, I do think Joey Logano sneaks in. I think Kyle Larson sneaks in. I think Chase Elliott sneaks in, and I honestly think it's. I don't. That fourth one, I'm still in the air. Um, man, I really think that Harvick's really going to turn it on come playoff time. I don't know why, but I have a hunch that Kevin Harvick and them is about to turn it on playoff time, and he makes a run for that championship.
He's gonna have to show us something. Like
Yeah.
he's got to do like what Stewart did in 2011.
Right.
Because Stewart didn't show us nothing, and then the first race out, he come out and he waxed the field and won the race.
Yep. Yep.
And so if he comes out and does that at Darlington, because he's good at Darlington, 750 package, they've been decent with the 750 package. If he comes out at Darlington, wins the race, I probably would be in agreement that you got a good chance to get Harvick in there. But he hasn't shown me that yet.
Right. I got you. Gonna before we get off here, gonna preview a new segment in 2022. Calling it the Willie's Short Track Tour. It's gonna be my goal for next year is to hit 50 short tracks in 2022. A lot of traveling is going to be involved in that. I'm gonna have to wait on schedules to come out to. I think I can get it done. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get it done. Going to get y'all some backstories on some of these racetracks. Going to do a lot of research on these racetracks. Talk to some promoters, stuff like that. You know, it's going to be a lot of weekend deals. It's going to be a Friday, Saturday, possibly a Sunday deal. But it's going to be fun. I think it's going to bring a lot of awareness to the page. You know, I ain't scared to travel. So there'll be some trips in Illinois. There'll be trips in Indiana. There'll be trips in Georgia. There'll be trips in Tennessee. We're going to hit the South a lot. But I plan to make some trip. I think I'm going to do a 3-day swing in Wisconsin. As far north as Wisconsin. But it's going to be neat. I'm going to bring that coverage to the page to give y'all kind of a look of what short track racing is in the South and northern part too. So be a lookout of that. And then I'll probably have a schedule out that I'm going to follow towards probably January, February, March, something like that. 'Cause short tracks, they wait till the last minute to get their schedules out. So it'd be that right there. So look out for that. Best and worst of the week, Matt. I'll let you go first.
Best of the week, I'd have to say, you know what? Dinger getting that win, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I have to go. Worst of the week. Listen. I was sitting high and proud as a NASCAR fan last Sunday. Not this Sunday, last Sunday. Because Watkins Glen, we put on a great race. And here comes IndyCar on the Nashville Street Circuit, and they put on a farce. And everybody was laughing. Ha, 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 ha. And then what do we go and do on Sunday at Indy? We put on a freaking farce. Listen, NASCAR is supposed to be the #1 tier series of motorsports in the United States. I'd even say North America.
Yeah.
And so I hold NASCAR Cup Series racing at a very high standard. And what we saw on Sunday, basically with 4 laps to go and after, was short track shit that shouldn't be going on at that top level of racing.
100% agree. My best of the week has to be Colic Racing coming as a whole and taking that checker flag. That is probably the first of very many races they're probably going to win. That I do think that team is going to be a super team. It's going to take 2, 3, 4 years, but that team will be a Hendrick, Gibbs, or a Penske. It'll be that caliper team. My worst of the week. It's not going to be this week. It's got to be Music City. That race, man, it had a potential to be probably. The fans showed out. Showed out there.
That race had the potential to be IndyCar's second crown jewel.
Yes. Now, with that being said, I still think that they can make some tweaks to that racetrack, make it a little wider, and I think it works. They're going back next year. They already said it. They're going back. It's going to be just like a Monaco. They race it every year. Now, with the not promoter, but the Indy president come out and said, well, this is going to be better than Monaco. No, I don't think I don't. It's going to be hard to top Monaco.
Well, what they produced on Sunday was no Monaco race.
No,
that's the problem. Is and I agree with you, Willie. They're gonna have to make some changes, because if they don't make changes, then they're just gonna have another basically shit show.
Yeah,
next year.
Well, and me and you talked. I mean, what this generation loves is Rex. They do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because a lot of these kids and stuff, they don't work on the race cars. Let your dad go out and wreck a race car and see how long it takes 5 seconds to wreck one. How long does it take to put it back together? That's the thing with, that's the thing with that type of racing is you ask for wrecks and you want to see wreck. Oh, they wrecked. But I see the backstory of it, and the guys that work on the race cars, So, but NASCAR is going to race a street course probably next year. It's going to come out. I think they're going to race Chicago.
Probably. It's either going to be Chicago or Nashville. If they could end up doing Nashville next year.
So it'll be 2 races.
Especially because it's getting set up, right? If it's going to get set up again for IndyCar, there's a high possibility that they may run it.
Nah, I don't think they run Nashville. But, today was fun. Probably we'll look at next week, or we might be a bi-weekly. But the plans is me and Matt is going to either do weekly or bi-weekly. I've not made my mind up yet. But we're bringing the show back. It is just me and Matt moving forward. We are going to rebrand, so we'll be seeing a name change to it. It won't be the Mid-South Sports Report. It'll be something else. We ain't come up with that yet, but it's going to be fun. I can tell you that right now.
I mean, the big thing is, and I think, Willie, you can agree with me and everything like that. I mean, we loved having Michael on the show. Unfortunately, just some things went down that were, I'd say, out of the 3 of ours control. And so what ended up happening is that Willie wants to take the show a different direction.
Yeah, we're going a different direction.
We're going more pavement. This show is going to go more we're gonna go more asphalt racing.
Yep.
Neither Willie or I mean, I might have a little more than Willie, but neither one of us have a lot of dirt experience. We might touch on it here or there or anything like that, but it just ended up that we decided we wanted to go a little bit of a different direction. And Michael didn't really want to be part of that direction, so we just decided it was best to separate ways now. And so this show will be focusing more on asphalt. I will be, just so everybody else knows, though, that Michael is going to be starting a podcast on dirt racing, and I will be a part of that show as well. So you'll get to see my beautiful smiling face, whether you think it's beautiful or not, on 2 podcasts. So when Michael gets the details out for that, then you guys can look forward to that. You can get all your dirt fix there, and you can get all your NASCAR and I don't know what super late model. I mean, I know you're kind of into the super late model thing, and
the Willie short track tour. It's going to hit some dirt tracks, going to hit some asphalt tracks. I'm going to have a mixture of both, but it's going to be basically it's going to be my look into the backstories and of what tracks. There might be a racetrack on there. There's some racetracks in Kentucky that I didn't even know existed. I know my goal for next year is to hit every racetrack in Kentucky. I mean,
lofty. I like it. I like it.
There will be. I will hit every racetrack in Kentucky. I know there's. I thought we was maybe sitting at maybe 10, but I think we're sitting at maybe 20. Majority of them is dirt tracks. So I'm gonna hit them. I'm gonna hit Tennessee tracks. I'm gonna hit 50, and if I hit 50 before the end of the year, we're gonna hit more. So I'm off every other weekend. I can hit a midweek show. I did go help Charlie Mefford some with their modified. I did. They're talking about running the summer tour. I might take a week off and go run the summer tour with them, be experienced. But the show is going to continue. We're gonna talk a little bit more about NASCAR. Me and Matt follow NASCAR a lot more than what Michael did. Because that is still a premier series. And I wish Michael all the best, 100%.
We both do.
Yeah, he's gonna make that dirt podcast, go off and stuff. And if I could help him anyway, I'd help him anyway. So no hard feelings. We're just going a different direction. But I just figured that it was probably best we do our own thing and this page continue to grow. So, you got anything else before we hop off here?
No, not really. Looking forward to the race this weekend at Michigan. Everybody's going to be bringing their best stuff because it's the manufacturer showdown, I guess teams like to call it. So you're going to get my pick.
Yeah.
Oh God, I hate to say it, but I mean, how do you bet against Larson?
Yeah, I'd say you're right. I honestly think, I hate to say it, but I think a Ford probably wins it. I think a Ford wins it.
But Fords haven't shown anything on the 550 tracks. That's what makes me nervous about the Fords. Is they have really on the 550 tracks. That's where they really struggled this year. Yeah. So possibly, you know what? Possibly a Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
I know
trucks are at Gateway this weekend. So
yep. I know me personally. The boy that I got on my shirt here, he better start showing me something. Because otherwise they're going to be making an early exit into this playoff.
Did you catch the comment? He kind of snookered at NASCAR. I'm glad qualifying's back. I'm hoping that comes back to.
Yeah. Well, he was always a good qualifier, and that's the big thing. I mean, you know what? Unfortunately, he had a 33rd place finish because of that curb. And so now that's put him way back. Now, granted, the race he did win this year, he started 32nd on a 550 track, and that was the one he won. So,
yeah. I'm excited to see this race because I think with the 550 packs, you'll see a lot more drafting.
Yes.
So the one thing about the 550 package is all these cars come out trimmed out.
Yep.
So you'll see them single car spins.
Oh, and by the way, no PJ1 this weekend.
Really?
Nope. That
They're
was
not-
announced on XM this morning. Scott Miller said that they are going to do what they did in Nashville.
What, put the tire dragon down?
They're going to put the resin and the tire dragon down is what they're going to do.
Who
So-
owns Michigan?
NASCAR.
So they're going to take the tire. Kentucky will never host a race again. Let's go on and put that down. They
Oh,
will
not
never
Kentucky.
put-
Nashville did that this year, wasn't it?
yeah, but it's Kentucky's dragon. It's
Right.
Kentucky's tire dragon.
Right.
They the one that started it.
Yeah.
So
That's what
taking it
they're
up
doing
and-
because they were really happy with the results they got at Nashville, so they're taking the tire dragon and the resin up to Michigan. So,
that,
but
before
no
they paved that-
PJ1, which I'm happy
before
about.
they paved that track was 5 wide. You can run a middle, you can run a bottom, you can run a top.
Yep.
And now, guess what? It's right around the bottom.
Yep.
So
Too
All right.
smooth. Too smooth.
yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you possibly next week. Well, if we do have a show next week, we'll pop it up. If we
If
won't
we
have
do
a
not
show
see
next-
you, there
Yeah.
will be a show before the first playoff
Yes.
race in Darlington.
yes,
For sure.
we're gonna have our own war room. How about that?
Oh boy.
We're gonna have our own war room. We're gonna break down every round by round, and we're gonna have a bracket style deal. And I don't know.
Okay. So what are we gonna put on it? We're both gonna do brackets. What are we putting on it?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to discuss that one. I don't know what
We're gonna have to discuss that one because we're gonna do brackets for sure for the playoffs.
We're gonna do brackets, and I'm hoping NASCAR comes out when we can do a bracket with everybody. Do a bracket.
That would be pretty cool.
So, all right, guys, we'll catch you down the road.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys. See you later.